Okay, so I turned it back off because I wanted to show you exactly from the beginning. So when you turn it on, I already have the hoop on there. It's going to tell you the carriage is going to move. All that means is that this piece right here is going to move back and forth so it knows which hoop you have on and not to touch anything, and make sure it's not going to touch any walls or objects behind it. So we've already refilled the bobbin in the bottom in the previous video, and I still have my thread attached from when I showed you how to thread it. It's down there in the needle. So now we're going to go to lettering. We're going to write part of your username. This is capital and lowercase, large, medium, and small. So we're just going to go ahead with medium. When you check it, it shows you the words you're doing. Oh, I don't want to cancel it. We can adjust it. You can click on layout. This is going to show you where on the hoop it'll be. You can't really see it there, but it's the words that you did earlier. If you want to move it up and down, you just push the arrows to move it, and it will move on the screen too. If you want to see where it's going to stitch, you press this button right here, and it'll show you where it's going to stitch out. Let's see. This can rotate it. So if you want to rotate it in any direction. This will mirror it if you want to mirror it, but it will not work with this only because it's a text design that came into the machine. If you used one from a computer or somewhere else that was imported, you can use the mirroring. You just can't use it for the built-in lettering. So once you're ready to stitch this, this is just, if you say you have multiple colors in a design and you want to switch, you press the threads to move forward through the colors. And then this plus and minus at the bottom that shows the needle tip is, say you're stitching something and it gets stuck or you mess up, you can use this to go backwards a few stitches or forwards a few stitches to go over it again. So now that we have all the basics, we're just going to drop this, and it's this presser lever here. So you see when it's up, the button's red. When it's down, the button's green, and you're ready to go. This little thing right here is your timer and your speed. I always stitch on the fastest speed. If you're newer, you might want to stitch on the lower speed. So we're going to go ahead and press the button. Okay, so now that it is finished sewing, we're going to press OK. Whoops. Raise the presser foot, and we're going to trim the thread away. Sorry, I'm doing this with one hand. Let's see if I can get the hoop off with one hand. So to take the hoop off, you just, I can't even show. You click this in and pull up. It is a lot easier. I'm doing it with one hand, so I'll have to show you after with two hands. Now when you take it off, you just want to be sure that the bottom bobbin thread cuts, because sometimes all machines are hit and miss. All of mine do it. It's a matter of this option right here is supposed to cut the thread, but sometimes it cuts it and sometimes it doesn't. So the fix is you just have to cut it with a pair of scissors. It's not that serious of a job. So here is what, well, I got the light behind it. Here's what the stitched out name looks like. I don't know if you can tell, but it is an orange. The lighting is horrible in here. So it says Mimi in orange, and then on the back, okay, since sewing is kind of hit or miss, you either know how to sew or you don't, I'm just going to show you quickly how to change the machine from embroidery sewing. You'll see there's a little latch under here. I'll show you when I pick it up. But once you pick up that latch and pull the tray out, the machine will automatically realize that you're switching to sewing. So this larger arm, let me flip around, this little latch in here is what you're going to push to remove it. But this larger arm is specifically for the embroidery. So if you're going to sew, you're going to use this little piece and you're going to get this big guy out of your way. So this little piece just slides in like this, and that just gives you a even space to work with. So you can go through and choose the different types of stitches, and there's a whole chart right here for which number is which and how it goes, and reverse and straight and all those. Speed, needle up, needle down. Another reverse button. Tension knob is up here. Again, I don't ever mess with this. I leave it right where it is. Don't change the tension. Same rules for the bobbin and the case and the needle and all that. And again, once you switch back, you just pull this little piece out. Push that piece in, make sure it clicks good, and give the machine a second and it'll switch back to embroidery. So you have all these different little pieces and connections, and this is a thread cap. This is another thread spool for the top in case you needed another one. Oh, actually there isn't any extra needles in there. There's a double needle in here. I believe that's only for sewing. Extra needles in this case. Let me slide that over. If you have extra needles in this case, this will wrap around a roll of thread to keep it from unrolling. There's some safety pins in the bottom, so be very careful about that. Little cleaning brush if you have any lint, so that's that. On top is all the different sewing feet. I never used the sewing portion, so I couldn't tell you which feet is which without looking at the diagram, but they're all here. Everything that came with the machine is here. The little plastic pieces and stuff that are in there is what you're supposed to use to take them off, but I never found that they really work correctly, so that's why I had this in here, because I used to, let me see if I can switch hands. I used to pop this right on there and turn it, and it works like a screwdriver because it works better than the plastic pieces that they had. So you can use this, I'll leave it in there, or you can use a coin or a regular screwdriver. I just find that the actual little tools that came with it aren't productive in changing the needle or the foot. So to change the needle, this needle should be fine. I've used needles for years and years and years and never had a problem. But for any reason your needle breaks, this little black knob right here, you turn it to the left and pull it outwards and the needle will fall right down. So make sure you have something there ready to catch it. You're just going to slide a new one up in the hole, push this back and turn it tight again. I'm not going to do it because, I mean, I'm not going to do it. And then the same thing with your presser feet. These screw on this side, and I think there's one up here on this side. We'll remove this foot to attach a new sewing foot. So this is down, this is up. So the last piece that I'm going to show you is the USB port. So this square piece goes into the machine over here on the right hand side. Sorry, again, one hand. And then this USB piece would go into your computer or storage device. Actually, let me go grab my computer. I can show you. Okay, so the USB is all connected from the computer to the machine. The only thing I did automatically was you press this transfer button. So I'm going to use this baseball here, Don't Care design. This is what it looks like, but this PES file is what it's called, is the file for the machine. So we're going to click copy. And then we're going to go to this PC and USB drive E. This folder right here is for this machine. It might be called something different on your screen. So we're just going to, oh, let me redo that because I didn't do it on camera. You're just going to right click or Control V and paste your design in there. Once you do that, let's see if I can get it to go faster. So I'm just erasing and re-putting the design so you can see what the machine says. Okay, so it'll say transmitting and the design will show up. So if this is the design that you want to make, you click on it and you click open. It's going to tell you that the first color that's going to stitch out was the blue lettering. The next color was the white from the ball. the black outline, and the red laces. Now, each brand of thread has its own color numbers, so that's why sometimes when you see if something is white in a design and then you look at it and the computer saying it's beige or blue or brown, that's because the thread numbers are different. So that's why we make the images like this one that tells you blue, white, black, and red. So if for any reason this design tells you differently, so like this says blue, beige, gray, and red, fuchsia. So you know that the actual order is blue, white, black, and red, regardless of what the machine says. This is not going to have any effect on what stitches out. It all depends what color you physically put in the machine. So technically, you could put black in for all 4 colors and just have an all black design that has no color to it. Okay, so there's one more thing that I wanted to show you. This is what you're going to use if you're using an embroidery card, which goes in this slot over here, but they're not really common anymore. I don't have any. This is what you're going to press for saved designs. So I do have a few that are in here. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that one because it's personalized. Okay, so there's New York Yankees design saved in there just to show you that they can save. You can add them or erase them, and anytime you want. When you transfer a design from USB, you can click on this button or this button while it's stitching, and it'll save it in there so that when you take your machine out, you don't need to have an internet connection or a computer or anything to use it. The design is already in there. Additionally, you have some frames that came with the machine. So those would just stitch basic frames. Along with the 5 fonts, you have those, and the 5 fonts, 3 different sizes for each font. And then this little flower, you actually have 70 embroidery designs that are built right in. They're hard to see on here, but you get a basic preview along with a number. We're just going to scroll through these quickly. So basically with the machine itself, there's a lot that you can do without having custom software. And then, let me grab the manual. Oops. In the manual, there are obviously instructions, quick stitching. Come on. Okay, so there's previews for all of the lettering. And also the designs that come, why can't I turn the page? Okay. The designs that come with the machine and the colors that you would need to make them. So even though it's pretty small on the screen, you have a hard copy here for each image that comes in there for you to make. Alright, so that's all. Thanks! So I just powered this off. I have the manuals and all of the pieces right here. I'm going to start getting stuff boxed up, and thank you for your purchase.